Greetings, this is Danny from GoBiz IT, and I would like to present in this video a bit of explanation of what is Zoho CRM sales automation, what are the capabilities, as I'm being asked about this quite often, and I want actually to explain what are the things that you can do with Zoho CRM, as this is quite a general statement, sales automation. So let's deep and see what are the options that you can do with Zoho CRM. So going into our CRM system, you really need to think if you want to send a lot of notification regarding new leads and new deals, etc. Because if you have a high volume of leads and deals, sending those emails will create a high load on the inbox of the users. And for that purpose, we really recommend more what we are calling pull instead of push. Sending email is a push, and then you get email and you need to check your emails and follow up. But this is a pull. So obviously in Zoho, each person can see a view, and this is a demonstration. So for example, this is Zoho Open List. This is view of leads that I need to take care of, right? I can see here the stage, maybe it's say engage. And for example, I can obviously the view is a segment of the data. So each person should only see their own data if the Zoho is set up in the correct way. And you see, I can create like Zoho open leads, and I call this not connected. Yeah, I can create this for me, for everyone. And if in your view, if you put a star, you see it straight away. So this is one way of actually automating. Is not really automating, but it's like a best practice. Like, do we want to send a lot of emails, or do we? So you see, I don't have anything that I hadn't connected, but you can see many other different views. For example, the one that were created recently. And this is a better way of just getting in touch to people and following up. And the same go for leads, contact accounts, deal, etc. You see these two just, contacted in the last week. So probably better to get in touch, get back to these people. Obviously, a lot of information is also presented in the dashboards at the homepage, and you can customize those dashboards. So I can see here, my open tasks. And you also have what you call like the classic view. And then you can see all of your tasks with a certain legend. What is in green is in the future. If it was today, I think is orange. And if it's red is in the past. So this is also a great way of like following up on things. Obviously, if you are a manager, you probably want to check up the reports. So So for example, if I'm a manager, I can see like a customized view of all of the reports by the salesperson, the deal name, the issue, whether it's completed or not. I guess you can also add the amount of the deal. You can pretty much segment everything and see the other different people in the team. So obviously, if you got like 3 different salespeople and one is doing like 60 activities and the other one is doing 10 or none, so you kind of know that they're at least they're not using the system correctly. The next part is called assignment rule, which is I think is here. Sorry, that's workflow. Scoring rule, we'll get there. Assignment rule. So assignment rule, this is just an example. Again, once you create a new lead, and maybe based on the lead, any field in the lead. So if the lead is coming from Zoho lead, I want to assign that lead for like a certain person. You can also see that once the leads are assigned to me, only the Zoho leads, then it also creates for me like a follow-up task to call the lead. And you see this follow-up task is triggered like in the due date is like 7 days from the time that the lead was created. So you can obviously define like your own criteria. Okay, let's have a bit of a look how you can also automate as you are working with your different users. So in Zoho, if you click on the most right part of the screen, you can see the last 25 entities that you work with. Let me open this user. The more you use Zoho, you consume more attributes regarding that person. So we can see that first there are like different notes regarding this person. We can see when the stages were changed. And I want to show you something that is called survey. So you would see that that person was sent different surveys. And if you would check the attachment, you will see a survey that he was filling just today. This is how the survey looked like. And what is very nice with the Zoho is that the information that the person is entering at the survey is actually mapped to the different fields. So this is again a great tool. So if you would see that they're going to implement this quarter, I mean, this is a great question. When is your implementation date, right? And then you create like a view that says, show me the implementation date of everything that is urgent. You can see the different value. Like, I mean, okay, show me everything that needs to be happen immediately or in the next 30 days. So this is information that you actually ask your customers. You see the budget come from the survey, a little bit about their business, what they wish to implement. Obviously, the information you collect needs to be related to your industry. So it needs to be like a very short survey, uh, and then probably go to explain what is like working with the template. So you see, if you would check the email, and it has like two view. That one is called email sent from CRM. And you can see that he received, and you can see also if the emails were open, not open. For this, obviously, you need to synchronize your users. So you see, this is an email that is being sent personally. It looks just like a normal email, and it says, thank you for your interest, blah, blah, blah. Has a link to that specific survey. And once you fill the survey, that information is already part in the CRM. Okay, so you would see that you see it says this quarter, I got the information from the customer. The three elements that you see here is called like a business card that can be customized. Another thing that is quite important is called scoring rule. Let's have a bit of a look. What are the scoring rules? This is just an example. So for example, for the lead, we noticed that there is a high demand for Zoho in the industry high tech. So if someone is from that industry, they get 10 points. If they have more than 20 users, they get another 10 points. So you either add points or remove points based on different criteria. If people are opening the email, we're adding them point. However, if the email is bouncing, we're reducing point, etc., etc. So as you can see, we would have like a list of our leads. right? Because you either want to work on like the most hottest leads, or maybe for some organization, you want to work on the ones that are not getting back to you. I don't know. Maybe you want to call all of them. So you see, we would have, for example, like a view of everyone with a certain amount of like high points. Let me show you this. You see over 30 scores leads. So this is again the scoring rules. See people that with like a lot of rules, you can see here the activity. So you see like in this way, this is already like automation because you know when you need to get back to these people. Obviously, here it hasn't been done as quick as it should. Going back to the person, we work a lot with something that is called templates. So you see if I click now on send email, for example, I hadn't spoke with that person for a lot of time. And I would pick a template. You can see the person information is already there. There's many templates. Maybe I would put something is called backlog clinging. So this is based on a template. You can also see that the open rate of this template is quite high. So as you can see, I quite like to send the emails that would just like the template that would just look like emails. It can either look like emails or you can write them to look more like a newsletter. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger. I was calling you, it has a questionnaire, and this is a very fast way of sending stuff. Is a very fast way of automating. Now, for example, let's say you call someone, you got their voicemail. You can do the same thing again, but there's something even cooler than that. It's called macro. So I can run a macro that would use a template, and it's called got your voicemail. You see, got your voicemail or follow up. You can see so many options. Okay, so that one just sending emails. In the same way that I have a macro that is, doing the backlogging. Let's run a different macro that is doing something a little bit different. The same like I was doing with the backlogging, but now I'm doing this with the macro. This macro would change the stage that is called backlogging. It would send the email with the template that I created, and it would also add a task for backlogging. And that task can be created as open or close. So you will see here, I've got here many activities, so it might be a bit hard to see. And once I do this, this is a great way of automating. It did this for like those 3 records, right? And that's it, it's done. So again, if I would go here to the emails, and it is a bit confusing because it is shown under email sent from CRM. So you need to have a look here. And you can see this is the one that I was sending manually. This is the one regarding the voicemail, for example. So you can see all of those emails are just arriving like normal email. I call, get in touch with you. Please get back to me. Or this backlog message. And in addition, it created like an activity. So an activity of email backlogging was created. And in addition, there is here a stage that was updated to backlogging. So in the same way that I can activate that macro on one entity, I can click on the view. This is what we discussed at the beginning of this presentation. And for example, I don't know, ready to implement leads. Let's see if there's anyone in this view. In the same way, I can pick everyone in this lead, in this view. And now, by the way, you can also send like everyone like SMS and stuff, but you see, now I can run the macro, but instead of one, I can send this to all of them. So for example, we're getting like list of leads from Zoho, and when we want to get in touch with them, we just send everyone like the survey. Thanks for getting in touch. It would come personalized to all of them, sending them the survey, then they reply. So this is like a lot of automation, and we just activated. Obviously, I'm not going to activate it, but if I will, for example, create like a task to call in 3 days, so this would create a task to call in 3 days to all of them. Or if it would be sending them like an email template, it would be sent to all of them. So this is a great tool of automation. Eh, Obviously, another great tool of automation is the workflow. So for example, what is it? So much stuff. Like a very simple rule, but you will get the idea. When a new lead is created, and let's say this lead is not coming, all of the, I don't know, we get a lot of spam that it says Google, or the email is not Gmail. So we create like a follow-up task to call that specific lead. This is an example of automation. Let me show you a different type of automation. Okay, you can see here, here I want to actually show two things. First of all, this is a deal. Sometimes it's called opportunity. So you can see here, we have a field that is called number of users, but let's say we hadn't met the person yet. So now I'm changing the stage of this offer to something new. And as I make this change, oh, suddenly it asks me for the number of users. So obviously you need to activate this. Is just an example. The user field doesn't even appear on the screen. But now when I change, I had a meeting with the customer, right? So he asked me, okay, how many, I mean, this can be, how many users they have. Have you met with the, some of the organization we implement? Have you met with the decision makers, put their names, any type of data that you want to ask. So, okay, these people had 84 users. So only at this field become mandatory and it becomes available on the screen only at this stage. And here suddenly I can see the number of users. Now let's say there is another functionality in Zoho that is called function. So this is pretty much like coding. It is required writing code and stuff. So we have information that is called when would be the start date of this project and what would be the template that would be used. Okay. And you will see here on the left, you can see there is no project attached. And actually project is actually is a different product of Zoho that is integrated with the CRM. So I said that, we want this project. And once I would save it, the function would create a project. I think I might need to refresh the screen in order to see what I was doing. Also can take just half a minute or something just to execute. So at the moment, there is no project. After the refresh, they should be here a project. And all of the relevant information is recorded from the deal/opportunity to the project. This project is created with a template with all of the relevant steps to implement the project. So again, this is a good demonstration of automation, right? And you can see here that there is a new project created. We can now click on this project. It's called Zero Integration. And once we click on the project, it would open the project system embedded, integrated inside the CRM system. And you can see the project that was created. You can see the different milestones that are related to this project, assigned to different people in the team, different elements, etc. And you would see it would pick up the date that I put in the project and would add the additional information based on the template. The last part that I wish to discuss is called blueprint. And you can set certain blueprints for, let's say, when the deals are for like expensive deals, for example. You see if the amount is over, of course, you define the criteria over 50K, you can set up like your own workflow of how the things would work. For example, you will send email with information. If it's stuck in the stage none for more than 2 days, you want to send like a notification. You can either qualify over the phone with Corona or have a meeting with the customer, then submit a proposal. Maybe the customer was rejecting, so it's lost, or maybe the project is on hold, or maybe it was winning, or like different actions. And based on those different actions, kind of just push your users to use a very decided steps. I'm not going to enhance on this. And this is the last part that I wanted to present. So just a summary of what was discussed and demonstrated today. This was, the best practice regarding pull data versus push data. Like if you're, again, running a lot of transaction, we wouldn't recommend sending so much notification, just creating a lot of loads in the inbox of the users. We discuss assignment rules to assign different entities to the relevant users. We demonstrated how a survey can be used and how the survey is integrated to the CRM, adds a lot of your customers' information directly to the records. We explain about templates, how to use the macros that would use the templates. We discuss workflow, what can be done with workflow. We discuss, if you remember, when we in the lead, that we showed that certain field is not even available on the screen, and once you change a certain stage on your deal, the field is become available on the screen and it becomes mandatory. So this is great automation and just making sure that certain things are required at the correct time. I mean, obviously, if you hadn't met the customer, you wouldn't know what is the amount of users. So this is what this automation is coming to fix. We discussed the scoring rule. The more you interact with customer, their score is going higher, which also helps you to attract and attend the relevant customers. We discuss functions, just for example, that can help you integrate between Zoho and leads, or just copy information from one entity to the other. Let's say you are in a deal, you want to create like an invoice. So all of the information that was in the deal can be copied to the invoice, so you don't need to reprint it. That's an example of automation. And lastly, the blueprint, that if you have a certain types of deals and you want a more dedicated, the relevant steps that would need to be followed, you can do this with the blueprint. By the way, the ideas of the macro and the template, you can use this as a mini of a, like a a bit like a mail marketing, because you can send up to 1,000 like emails like with a click of a button, and is just using the templates. So that's it for the presentation. Thank you all for listening. And if you're curious or want to hear more, feel free to go to our website and sign for Zoho. And again, thank you for listening.